Hello, my name is Paul Ryznar. I'm the CEO and founder of LightGuide Inc., based here in Detroit, Michigan. And I'm joined by Sanjay Ahire from Ford Motor Company. Sanjay, thank you for joining me today for the EWTS presentation on manufacturing at the speed of light.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for having me here.
And congratulations, by the way, on the big Ford Motor Company announcement last week of $11 billion investment in EV batteries and vehicles for sustainability. Congratulations on that announcement.
Oh, thank you on behalf of our Ford team. Absolutely, it's very exciting.
So the purpose of our presentation today is to be able to go through these learning objectives with the goal of these three takeaways. Number one, projection-based light-guided augmented reality can really maximize ROI on a factory floor. The analytics provide real-time visibility on a worldwide basis, and we can really make sure that the physical twin on the factory floor truly matches up with a digital twin. So at a high level, why augmented reality for manufacturing? Well, we are really focusing on the manufacturing world where every second counts and every penny counts. In many cases, in true 24/7 manufacturing environments. So it's a little different world than those where you might be doing remote maintenance, for instance, or other areas where maybe every second counts and every penny doesn't count. But the areas that we're focusing on specifically with our technology is really those very critical, and I would say mission critical applications in manufacturing. And as we have found, when deployed smartly, augmented reality truly does maximize the human potential by allowing people to operate with greater mind width, in other words, less stress on the factory floor, but now people can operate across almost unlimited product variation as well. Augmented reality, when deployed properly, allows that to happen in a manufacturing world. And it also provides for proven and practical augmented reality. And when it's deployed properly, it really should deliver the right information at the right place and at the right time, similar to a GPS for manufacturing. And many of us in our company here in Michigan come from manufacturing backgrounds ourselves. And we can experience firsthand, based on the many years on the shop floor, where just paper or monitor-based work instructions just simply don't work. As you can see, many times the work instructions may be outdated, or if they're monitor or paper-based work instructions, productivity suffers because in order to see the work instructions, people on an assembly line have to stop working, just as you see on this picture. In many cases, work instructions are only in one language, and factory workers on the factory floor often speak many different languages. So that is also a significant limitation. So when augmented reality is deployed properly, again, it really doesn't matter what language you may speak natively. You just follow the lights through every step of a work instruction, and quality and productivity can go up dramatically. So practical and proven augmented reality really can solve this problem. So having been in business since 2005, we are now operating in 34 countries around the world. We basically have developed and patented and commercialized LightGuide as a way to really help manufacturing companies in those 24/7 type operations where every penny counts, every second counts, really drive some amazing results. But we've also got quite a bit of experience in the mobile devices, wearables, and ultimately projection-based areas. And we just want to review those very quickly with you here today. So as we take a look at mobile devices, we see these devices as being really great for non-critical short-term guidance. We all use our phones on a daily basis, and if we need some very quick work instructions, don't necessarily need to have both hands available. Mobile devices are a great way to get some form of information. It's low cost, it's easy to use, it doesn't require a lot of technology for people to learn in order to be able to apply it. But the problem is it's also not hands-free. And when you are working in a high volume manufacturing environment, you really need both hands to be able to achieve the productivity results that are required. They're also very limited in complexity. So we see these use cases as very good for just basic training, for instance. On the wearable side, we see this as being really good for mobile or remote guidance. Again, where maybe you can use extra time to be able to go between the wearable as well as the work that needs to be done and get the work instructions through the wearable. The great thing about wearables is they are hands-free. So just as you see in this picture, you've got both hands available to operate a torque gun, for instance, or build product. It's the right information, right time capability. Depending on the wearable, it may not necessarily be the right place though. It does enable more complex AR software to be implemented. It is cloud capable. And then finally, in our perception of manufacturing based on the work we've been doing, there are really great use cases involving maintenance and field servicing, warehousing, and worker training. And then we talk about projection-based augmented reality. And based on the many systems that we've deployed for both high volume, low volume, high mix, low mix type of manufacturing environments, we really see our technology and projection-based AR as best for precise full-time guidance. Many of our customers highly value the fact that, just like you see in this picture, it actually delivers an inherent layered audit process. Everybody can see what the team member is seeing at the same time. So instantaneously, you can see as a part of a layered audit process, are they doing the work that's required of them? Workers also require no additional hardware. They just wear their normal safety glasses and they step up to a workstation and they can see the work instructions that they need to follow and may not need to even lift their head up from the work for the full shift that they're doing the work. It's hardwired to both power and IT systems. So there's no batteries that need to be charged. And also it's a much more secure system because it doesn't have to communicate any proprietary data wirelessly. It's hands and touch free. It can deliver 24/7 analytics for a higher level of traceability. It is Industry 4.0 connected, so you can interface with all of your standard smart sensors and devices such as vision cameras, barcode scanners, robots, torque guns, et cetera. And it's accessible, adaptable, and reliable. And this is really where it all comes together. A number of our customers now are basically implementing LightGuide at every single station up and down an assembly line without using monitor and paper-based work instructions anymore. And this video actually showcases that, the ability to be able to eliminate paper and monitor work instructions and replace it with, in this case, projection-based augmented reality. And over the years, we've now got 5 patents on our technology with additional patents that are pending as we continue to grow and ramp up worldwide. And you can see here, it's a 5-station assembly line, and this person is building a pretty complicated heavy-duty transmission valve body. They're, again, just wearing their normal safety glasses. The valve body pulls into, in this case, station 2. We've got a download here from the PLC or the MES system, and we lit up the right parts to be selected. That color that was a flashing white light goes green when we confirm with an overhead sensor. They did indeed select from the right bin, and we don't advance to go to the next step unless that step was done correctly. And then we guide them through the balance of this assembly process to rotate the valve body, select a part out of this bin, and then assemble it into the correct bore. So, and then it's on to station number 3. So step-by-step work instructions with essentially the analytics that are being recorded for every step of this process, cycle times, any defects that are recorded, the team member that did the work, et cetera, really providing a digital birth certificate now for every step of every part that was produced, which allows you to run reports by shift, by week, and however you want to look at that data. And at the very end of this, there's a very critical torque sequencing operation. Torque sequence in manufacturing can be a very large risk area because sometimes bolts get missed altogether or they don't get torqued to the right engineering specifications. So we actually light up the right bolts across multiple sequences based on an input from the MES or PLC in white light, and it shows them where to go next. And it also shows them in green what bolts have previously been torqued. So it really provides for what we call a no faults forward operating philosophy. In many cases, we don't advance the team member to the next step unless the previous step was done correctly. And so as we summarize our view of different types of augmented reality, mobile devices, wearables, and projection, you can basically see here why we will always, when customers call us looking to deploy augmented reality on their factory floor, we'll always select projection-based AR as our first choice because of all of the advantages that you see here that we discussed briefly before. And if it does require mobility within a large warehouse, for instance, or out in the field, or maybe in some moving line applications, we see that as a really good fit for wearables as well. And we do have a version of our projection-based augmented reality driven from the same LightGuide software that we can deploy onto a wearable. And we call that our LightGuide product. And so far, we've been able to apply those work instructions through HoloLens 2, as well as Vuzix and RealWear and some other hardware devices as well. Many of our customers are literally receiving return on investments at 6 months or less, and also publishing white papers on those results. Many cases, quality defects can come down to approaching zero, 90% or more reduction in errors, 50% or more sometimes in increased throughput and productivity. And as I mentioned, in many cases, a 12-month or even 6-month or less return on investment. So real augmented reality delivering real results on the factory floor. And when we talk about enterprise solutions, this allows our customers to really see how their manual processes are performing on a worldwide basis. So we'll capture the raw analytics at each station, and we'll be able to upload in real time those analytics through any combination of off-the-shelf software analytics packages like you see below here that allows real-time visibility into the work that's being performed now around the world. And this can identify bottlenecks in real time, can identify areas where training needs to occur. So this allows, again, these analytics to highlight what's happening on a worldwide basis for the manual process involving assembly, inspection, part kitting, sequencing, and even training as well. And many of our key customers are actually uploading videos publicly, talking about how LightGuide is helping to lead their digital transformation. This is one of our key customers, Bosch, publishing this video from one of their assembly lines, showing how LightGuide is guiding the team member through selecting the right parts in the bins, and even projecting other information such as videos and confirmation from a 3D sensor, as you see here, that the work really was done properly. So the goal here is that nobody needs to essentially waste time anymore looking at monitor or paper work instructions. They're getting 100% of their work instructions right on the workflow itself, as you see here. Very similar results with GE Healthcare, one of our customers, also publicly posting videos talking about how LightGuide is helping lead digital transformation at GE Healthcare, including publishing articles as well. This is their innovation lab out of Waukesha, Wisconsin, and they're demonstrating the LightGuide system behind this individual, Jimmy Beecham from GE Healthcare, that's talking about LightGuide within GE Healthcare and the work that we're doing here to guide people through a very critical work that needs to be performed in a medical and healthcare environment as well. And then because we can interface with all the standard Industry 4.0 smart sensors and devices, that can also include not just torque guns, vision cameras, and barcode scanners, but also even collaborative robots, allowing a robot to do what it does best and allowing a person to do what they do best. And this is one of our partners out of the Netherlands called TNO, did a tremendous job here interfacing LightGuide into a KUKA robot. And the robot here is actually stocking the workstation, a great application for a robot to pick and place to keep the person working at the workstation. And LightGuide is guiding the person through what they need to do, which is a pretty complicated, high dexterity assembly operation that involves building a wire harness, or it could be a hydraulic fitting, or any combination of high dexterity assembly operations that's difficult for a robot to do. And we can do this again across almost unlimited variation as well, with all of the analytics being recorded for every step of this process in the background. And then finally, we do a lot of very rewarding applications around the world. One of the ones that we're working on very closely with one of our customers over in in Belgium, called Mariestein. It's in the disability inclusion space, although we really don't think of it as disability inclusion. We think of it as people working with a different form of ability. And LightGuide can help people to build complicated parts, again, just by following the lights through every step of the process. And this is one of many, many rewarding applications that we've done with Mariestein and Bart de Kloot, who's featured in this video specifically. And in many cases, their employees were told at an early age that they would not be able to have gainful work in their future just because of their disability. And here you can see with the right tools, the right technologies, people not just can get gainful employment, but they can also be building no different than people without a disability in many complicated parts and at high variation as well. And as you can see here, projection-based AR can be diversified beyond just standard manufacturing applications. These 4 videos show a wide range of other ways to apply projection-based AR to be able to build, for instance, the perfect pizza every time on a pizza make line, or even make the perfect cocktail every time on a bar stand, or possibly even home-based manufacturing. During COVID, you could see here, we had a number of our employees using LightGuide to build different types of home-based masks for nursing homes and other areas like that from home. And then finally, our SiteGuide product, which is LightGuide through a wearable, that is a great fit for mobile applications involving warehousing or even remote guidance as well. And in 2020, we had the honor of being invited into the World Economic Forum's Global Innovation Group, one of only 50 companies around the world invited into this invite-only group to help accelerate Industry 4.0 and sustainable technologies like LightGuide on a worldwide basis. So I want to introduce Sanjay because we've been working very closely with Sanjay and ask him a few questions here and be able to go through a little bit of what he's doing as well in the Ford Advanced Manufacturing Center. So Sanjay, as this video is playing, first of all, you've been instrumental in working with suppliers like LightGuide to bring innovative technology into your manufacturing operations to optimize those operations. Can you provide a little bit of an overview of the work you've been doing, what's working well, and really what is your main focus at the current time?
Okay, so work-wise, in terms of like overview, personally, I'm involved in a project to assist a pro out in in-station gauging using the projection-aided guided sequence operations using the light-guided system. So it's an attempt to provide airproofing to the process inspection that aids the operators. What's working well, obviously, having this technology being proven in many areas of manufacturing at Ford globally has helped us in proving out at the current project as I'm involved in. We've talked to our subject matter experts in the other use cases who have already deployed the LGS solution. So there are deployments that are either already been running in various areas of production plants who are assisting part assemblies to take care of the need to airproof, manage complexities, reduce errors, or as an aid assisting operators in stations with very long cycle times without having to remember the entire operation sequence. So in this particular use case I'm working on, plant leadership and floor personnel are interested in proving out this operator augmentation to the current gauging processes. So the advantage of having LGS-driven soft signal sign-offs, illustrations being projected on the workbench assisting operators, and the illumination guiding the tool sequence pickup is anticipated to provide robustness to the process. Plus, of course, the less training to the new operators will be of a major plus. And what's our focus or my focus at the current time? So integrating the LightGuide system to the current Ford system is the major focus right now in this project, what I'm working on. So we're working with the LightGuide system and other vendor teams to collaborate and assimilate the new system in the current setup with the assistance of our IT and plant personnel. It's really an exciting and equally challenging to incorporate these kind of technologies, especially in the tight schedule of the production environment, as you can tell.
Great, thank you, Sanjay. You know, we always get in this discussion about augmentation versus automation. And obviously, as we saw in some of those earlier videos, there are some great roles for robots and automation, but there's also some great roles for augmentation. Can you give a little bit of your perspective on, you know, augmentation versus automation at Ford, and where you decide to put automation and where do you decide to put people with the right technologies to help them?
So when we talk about manual tasks, we are referring to step-by-step processes that we complete entirely on our own. So with augmentation, we are introducing operational assistance into that process, but we keep the crucial decision still the decision made by the people. So automation, on the other hand, gives control of both operations and decision making to the system. So like take an example of our driverless cars. Potential for autonomous is the driving experience is there. And of course, by all accounts, progressing quickly. However, everyone recognizes what's at stake when it comes to giving over decision making to computers. So over time, more of the driving process and decision making will be given over to the systems, but human intervention, we believe, will always remain in as an important circumstances. So in this regard, we are wisely viewing the landscape between the manual and automated processes as a vast spectrum rather than and like on-off switch. So similar logic holds true in most manufacturing arena as well.
Great, Sanjay. Well, thank you so much for that perspective. Really appreciate that. Anything else that you would like to share from a Ford perspective?
In terms of like, does augmenting our workforce provide more flexible solution than automation? Yeah, certainly does. So I may like to add on that. So full automation is still not feasible for many manufacturing applications. Automation can be prohibitively expensive. So it's hard to kind of like scale many times. Attempts at full automation reminds us that for all their faults, humans are still magnificent machines. So all the factors such as growing skills gap, error-prone work systems, and the challenges of automation have resulted in situations in which manufacturers across industry will need to bolster their workforce to achieve more. So the solution to those challenges, in other words, is augmentation. So for instance, onboarding operators, like new augmentation technologies such as yours helps train and reskill operators on floor. For example, LGS for training can walk a new hire through a process step by step. So with media rich and interactive guided sequence techniques, these helps to accommodate all learning styles and help operators learn by doing from day one.
Very good. Well, we couldn't agree more, and we look forward to continuing to work with you on those objectives.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. Really appreciate that.
Thanks for having me here. Thank you.
Great. So that's the conclusion of our presentation. And again, Sanjay, thank you for your time. We know how busy you are. And we do want to let the audience know that we are available to connect further. You can always reach us, obviously, at our office, or you can also attend our virtual booth. And we've got some information coming up here on how that can happen as well. So thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you.